Okay, this is the Fit for Real People book. It's going to, in here, we're using all of the fitting adjustments that are in this book. Okay, this is the bust adjustment. This right here is a chart that shows you how to figure out your bust size, and there's like instructions on how to figure out what your bra size should be, and you're welcome to read through that. It's on page 141. What we're going to do, this shows you how to do the large bust adjustment, but I'm going to use this page. I don't think there is a page for the small bust, but you have to make the same exact lines. So we're going to use this to figure out what lines to do. So I'm going to start out by, you guys get where you can see. Okay, I'm going to start out by this right here, this little X on the pattern is the apex or the bust point. Okay, so that's a very important part of what we're working with. And there's a big hole right there. It's time to get a new board. This board's getting too poked. Okay, now I'm just basically going to pin this. I'm going to leave this part open from here to here, and then I'm going to pin everything else down pretty good because this side of the pattern won't move at all. Okay, but when we cut this open, this part will open. Okay, so I'm just going to pin on corners, hold it down like this. This is Char's pattern today that we're working on. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to take this pin out. This little dot right there on your pattern, if you look at this over here on the book, see how it says go 1/3 of the way up? That dot represents the 1/3. On your pattern, usually you'll have a notch right there that will represent that, okay? So, oh my gosh, this board is really hammered. Okay, I'm going to draw a pencil line from the apex down the middle of the dart. Really the only place I need to draw for this, because there's already a line there, is right here. Okay, then I'm going to take from this right here to here. Okay, and draw a line there, and then I'm going to draw a line from this dot to the apex. Okay, then I'm going to take my paper scissors, cut this line. If you look at the book over here, see you cut the line, we cut up this line and pivot right here and cut out to this. We're going to stop at that dot, so we leave the seam allowance connected. Okay, so now we've cut this up from here to the dot, and we stop at the dot. I'm going to put that pin back in. Okay, now I have this line down the middle of this dart that goes to here. Now notice, if you look on here, we're going to leave this connected, this piece connected to this piece. So I'm going to stop a little before I get to the end, and it will leave it connected. Okay, so I'm just going to cut up this center line. Okay, and just leave it connected right there. Now I need to, on the small bust, on the large bust, we just let this kind of overlap when we open it, but because this is going to be closing over, this right here has to be able to pivot open. So I'm just going to put a little clip right there so that it will pivot right there and this will open. Okay, on her paper, this requires a small bust adjustment. It's kind of an adjustment we had to add on because they have the full bust, but they don't put the small bust in there, so we just add it down here. Her small bust adjustment is 1/2 inch. Okay, so if it was a large bust, we would open this. This right here, we leave this all together. Okay, but we'd open this 1/2 inch, but it's a small bust adjustment, so we do just the opposite. We take and we overlap this so that this overlaps 1/2 inch. Okay, so this, and then this dart will kind of overlap too. Okay, so we're just going to bring this in and measure that 1/2. Okay, and then I'm going to measure this down here, make sure it's the same. 1/2 inch. You want to even all the way down this line. That straight line is the key. Okay. Then, one thing you'll notice right here, notice how this piece is now longer. On a full bust, this one becomes shorter, so we have to lengthen this. On a small bust, we have to shorten this so that it comes to the same line. So the reason I had you pin here instead of tape it is so that we could take this out very easily and fold. And if you taped it, then we just have to loosen the tape. Some people... Okay, and then just bring that back so the line is... And the nice thing is we don't have to add paper to this adjustment because it's like it just overlaps itself. Okay, so now what we're going to do is just tape those openings closed. And then your new dart will be kind of the top of your dart is right here, and the dart just overlaps. So the dart just doesn't go up as high. Okay, because there's less curve in there now. So we took some of the curve out. So you can actually take and you can draw a line in here so you can see, draw a new line. So here's the top of my new dart right there, and then this line. Now darts are never set in stone. Sometimes you have to make adjustments with the darts.